So I promised you that I would sort of ad hoc come up with the themes of this year's symposium. So here's what I came away with. Certainly there's lots of ways to interpret. So we learned lots of really interesting new normative and quantitative and qualitative analysis of a lot of the issues that we're talking about, which is wonderful. I don't think we intentionally integrated methodologies, but somehow also achieved that, which is great. I would say that one of the first and foremost theme that I think that I heard over the past 2 days is the challenges of the application of our existing legal and ethical paradigms to precision medicine, specifically within the learning health system. So Jake and I were just joking about this over lunch, and he pointed out it's less like a square peg in a round hole, but it's like an oval peg in a round hole. And I'll say it looks like it should fit, but still doesn't fit. And so I think some examples of that were Dr. Colin Halverson and Dr. Stephanie Moraine, who talked to us about, for example, return of results in unselected cohorts. And there have been decades of research, both empirical and normative, on how we should be best returning results, most of which come to the conclusion that, well, you should ask participants at the time of informed consent whether they would want return of results. And of course, if they're not consenting, what do we do? So that's why we need a new paradigm there. Professor Jake Shurko talking about our FDA regs, which were, the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, passed decades ago, never intended to be applied to precision medicine initiatives, to cohorts of one, to a lot of these things that we're sort of trying to force these FDA regulations to grapple with. Dr. Marielle Gross talking to us about the very concept of identifiability. And, should we even be defined, it's the foundational definition of both HIPAA and the common rule. So much of our work is defined by whether something is identifiable or not. Should we be even considering that anymore? And Dr. Catherine Lee talking about our definition of diversity and how that also has to change. The second theme that I heard is sort of more specification of that broader one, which is our failure of informed consent specifically in the area of precision medicine and the learning health system. So Jack Hosty talked to us about the particular challenges of precision medicine in an oncology cohort, which we talked about a little bit more in the last panel, and Dr. Andy Schumann and Dr. TJ Kasperbauer talking about this assessment of comprehension. It was really nice to have that qualitative and quantitative data together, and how people aren't understanding. And does that matter? And is there a difference between when we're enrolling patients as participants in research where they might end up with a physical harm or a physical risk when we're talking about dignitary and privacy harms? And should there be a different standard than informed consent? And our last theme, I think, was the amount of opportunities we have as a community to try to alleviate some of these tensions that we were talking about before. So Dr. Peter Shaw talked to us about the important work that's being done in industry and its application in academic medical centers and whether that's something we can take more advantage of. Dr. David Cordova and Karen Calhoun talked to us about the importance of community engagement and how we understand things and the application to broader communities and diversity again, and really sort of listening to what communities need and want. And last, Dr. Jenna Wiens was talking to us about the opportunity of big data, AI analytics, and learning and machine learning, and how that can help feed these systems together and helps improve some of these things, hopefully faster. So, thanks.
Okay, so I get to say thank you again. Where's Janelle? Yeah.
We're making her work.
We're making her work, but we're also going to make her say here that that we're very grateful for everything that you've done for putting this together. So thank you to Janelle. She's the one, she's kept us truly happy today, fed, here, present, engaged. And then also to thank Teva Platt, who's done the program and the stickers and the signage, and gives us an image, does our website. We look good because of her. And then Philip Amara, Paige Nong have also been real sort of leaders in keeping us all on task. It takes a year to plan this, and so it's been a long year. And then, but such a wonderful, such a wonderful sort of set of days. And then the rest of it, Kate, obviously, thank you. Melissa Creary, anybody else who is on the planning committee who is here, Beza, my deepest thanks. Also, thanks to our sponsors. We wouldn't be here also without them. We heard a little bit from Karen about our working groups that actually met before this symposium really began to do the work of ELSI-LHS, and the dental school was there. Karen and her group was there. We had our MCBK community there. Our speakers spent some time together. Did I miss anyone?
We bonded.
Yeah, okay. We had some nice bonding. Anyway, so there's a lot of work to be done, and that's sort of one of the things that we come away with every year from the symposium is realizing how much work there actually is to do in between symposia from year to year. So in your books, you have a little evaluation form. Please fill that out if you're not already working on that. I sort of have ended many of the symposia with this statement that the learning health system is an opportunity to create a better system than the one we have now. I still believe that, and I still think that we can help us create that system through symposia and community building like this, where we get to talk about these big issues around trust, engagement, privacy, dignity, anti-racism, equity, honesty, respect, are so critical to a system, a better health system than the one we have now, which a learning health system can be. I also wanted to throw up this framework that I sort of came across in preparing this year. This is for sort of how to build trust into precision medicine and learning health systems. And what they propose is that you need an ethical and sociocultural layer in that creation, in addition to the technical and in addition to the institutional. And one of the things that I really love about ELSI-LHS is that we end up talking a lot about the ethical and sociocultural aspects, but I'm hoping that the people in this room that are doing the technical and are making the institutional level decisions are listening, and we can work together to find the pathways forward. So we are a very interdisciplinary group of people. We go to different conferences, we go to different department faculty meetings, we go to different companies and institutions when we leave here. And so I'm glad we had the opportunity to talk today. So looking ahead, we're in a place where we can begin to synthesize 4 years of symposia on this issue. We can begin to define what an ELSI-LHS approach really is. That's not a question we could have even begun to answer 4 years ago. We can continue conducting the sort of normative and empirical study and interrogation that we started today. We are working on identifying partners, prioritizing action plans, articulating vision and mission and goals for ourselves to ultimately strengthen diversity, equity, inclusion in the research practice and ultimately the impact of learning health systems. So with that, I think we're ready to call it a day. Thank you.